So this is the app that we last time built. It's a simple carousel, and I'll be also pushing them to GitHub of the Clarusway material section. And over here, let me create, what was that? This was a carousel, right? Carousel or accordion, I'm not sure. Just let's say that image slider, okay? So what are the input components? We know text input, and radio button. Yeah, submit also another input type, and radio button, checkbox, text area, right? File upload. Yeah, these are all different types. Save it. Remove this one. App CSS we haven't used. Index.js is okay. Index.js never used this one also. I can still leave this one, and yep, let me create here one brand new file app.js. So input components. These are called controlled components in React. Why do we call them controlled components? Because the input is managed and then the data can be reflected on the UI with the help of a state. Okay, state controls the input value. As a result, that state will be displayed on the UI. Whatever the state will have, that can be shared among other components over the React. Whatever the state will have from the input component, that data can be sent to, submitted to, and used to. Okay, that's why we call them control components. And so we know, yeah, there are like bunch of different HTML elements that can be used as a input components, as we listed, radio button, checkbox, and so on. So the very first and basic one is text area, where we can get and grab the text values, right? In regular JavaScript, we were using, if you remember, like document dot what was that, query selector, and then from we were getting what from input, right? Input component, and from here we were getting using the value. So every time when the user types whatever the user types, okay, and then after some action, we can grab this input value, right? So we can also get this input value in React in a pretty, smarter way, but in a more faster and immediately. So every time, for example, you type for the input component, say that your input component is something like this, okay? So this say that is input component, and then the moment we start typing, like let's say A, okay, B, and we start getting A, B immediately in our state, and then C, okay, we'll start getting C in our state, and then D will get the state D, okay, and then whatever state has this A, B, C, D, we can show on somewhere else in our UI, okay, or we can send it, use it, and so on and so on. And then that can be achieved with a more better solution in React. Let's get started with our necessary libraries. First, use state, right? Use state from React, and then let's quickly build a functional component over here, app, and then return, say that very simple div, which is hello. Let's make sure if it is what exported, and then we can see the output. So I'll go ahead and then run my React. So let's make sure we are inside my second app, and then npm start. All right, here we go. The app is running. App is still running. Yep, we have now the output is displayed as hello. Okay, and next, how can we implement an input component? So in React, we said that we can assign the components into variable as well, right? So it's like we were doing const, let's say child, child equal to what? Here, another arrow function, okay? And this is, let's say that h1, and then of course return h1, let's say child, okay? So this child can be easily used over here, right? Inside a self-closing tag, okay? Or internally, we can also put here in for some variables, okay? If it's used internally, so we can assign here const, let's say, what was that? Header, okay? Just as a regular variable header, which is equal to say that h3 and then hello React, okay? And so we can use this header as a dynamic variable, and then we can put down below here, okay? So these are the different versions of creating elements and then incorporating them during this app return, okay? So this is the child component, this is a separate component, and this is an internal component, okay? So it's like actually this is a what HTML element, which is assigned to a very simple variable, and then that can be attached over here. So we will have hello React, and then what child. Let's have a look. Hello React, and then child. Okay. So sometimes, for example, if you don't want to, let's say, polish your div, okay, which is the main section, so you can put things around here under different variables, constant, let's say footer equal to, let's say p, and then footer, and just grab this footer because this is a variable name, and just wrap with the curly brace footer. Okay, and it can be, but there can be a bunch of logic that returns these HTML elements based on that logic. Say that const body, okay, and then this is a function. It can also be function. So say that if it's some number, okay, if say that a number is greater than 10, please return some h6, saying here that number is greater than 10. Otherwise, return another h6, okay, number is less than 10 or equal. And this is also quite possible. So you just have to call this function down below footer, okay, as a dynamic variable name, and then provide him some argument. So since the parameter is num, then let's provide him an argument, putting here 20. Okay, so if this is 20, and then body function will be called, and that function takes that parameter and then compares if that one is greater than 10. Okay, return this one, this h6. Otherwise, return this h6 and put over here. Okay, so these are different versions, ways of how you can return, and then what integrate inside the components and make them work all together. Okay, any questions? So let's see now. And now this one is 20. So we will be seeing that number is greater than 10 down below the footer. Okay, number is greater than 10. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this is just an example, just to brush up the React knowledge, maybe like simple warm up. Okay, and we will be using this kind of logic in many places during the workshops, during the project implementations. So let me remove them, or if you still want, I can also share over the Slack. So just have a look at later on, okay? Just for yourself, guys. Just for yourself, it's and put here. Oops, not here, not for Barry, but for class. Okay. All right. Cool. Yep. So now you can get that one and play around if you want. So, any questions at the moment? Is there any still something you want me to clarify? Now, let's start building our first control component. I'll go ahead and then remove all of these stuffs and put inside my div a very simple input component. Okay, and let me put here a label as well. Label HTML4 what? HTML4, let's say search. Okay, and then let me put here ID search. So label and then for attribute should match, right? So we were using in regular DOM and then what the HTML the for attribute, but for React, it would be semantically meaningful, and then the behavior of React really fits if we use HTML4. Okay, so search. And then label, let's say here, search item, for instance. Okay. And now, how can we grab if we want to show something coming from this input? Okay. And I would like to put here some paragraph and saying here, you typed search value and then show here if we can display whatever we type here. Okay, but at the moment we can't show anything that's coming from input. Now we do have only simple input component and then the label and just a paragraph. That's it. So if we just wrap it with the bootstrap, okay, to pull things to the middle row, and then let me put here call. Save it. I hope bootstrap is imported. I'll have a look there in the middle. Cool. Now look at this search item. Let me type here hello. Okay, hello is typed. But how can I make sure that I can use this hello is save it somewhere else and then be able to use this value wherever I want. Okay, wherever I want. So for that one, I need an event handler, right? Event handler. I have to attach event handler. What kind of event handler I have to attach is not on click, of course. If you remember in the DOM manipulation vanilla.js, it was change, right? So click for buttons and change for input components like a type of text, type of radio, type of checkbox, right? So in this case, on change, okay, I'll attach I will attach, say that a function, okay, or before attaching, I can also have a look what kind of what kind of event I'm receiving. Console log, let's say, event dot target dot value. So the moment we say event dot target dot value, we can capture what is being typed inside this event. Inside this input component. Okay, so let's attach this parameter event. Okay, and then this target will target whatever the value is coming from this input component. Let's try to have a look this one using the console now. So console, I just remove and then let's have a look it and check. You see, I started getting something now. Yeah, so far I ended up typing these values. So ASD. And what I can do with this ASD is to save in where in my state. Okay, if I manage to store this one in my state, then I can use this data wherever I want and send to whoever I want. Make sense? So yeah, instead of this one now, I can attach a function. Okay, let's say handle what change. Okay, it's any kind of function. And down below here, let's create this function constant handle change and get this one stored in our state. So what we are actually receiving when we fire this one change? So we can attach here, let's say event, and then also we can console whatever the value is coming. Event dot target dot value. Okay, event at target dot value. Save it. Now let's try, instead of locally consoling, we are firing first the function, and then function should show us this console. Okay, remove this one. Yep, actually we started getting. Now if I type, yeah, these are all inside my function. Okay, since I have this inside my function, and I can get this value and get it stored where in my state. So what if I put here, for example, some variable later on to be able to see whatever is typed? Okay, so now const, say that here search item, or just a search text. Okay, set search text. And over here, use state. So initially it is empty. Okay, I'll take this search state and then put over here and see what it shows me initially. Initially nothing. You see, because I don't have state anything pointing. So if I put here hello, what I would get is initially hello, right? You type a search value, let's say as hello. Let's have a look. You type its search value as hello. Okay, but I want this to be not hello, but something that is coming from input. Does that make sense? So let's put that one. Instead of that hello, I will remove it, make it empty. So what makes me to update this search text is simply the function that is attached to my search text, right? Which is set search text. And instead of this one, I'll take over here. Okay, so search text and just update my state. So what should I put here, guys, to update my state? What should be passed as a parameter to this set search text?
Should it be event?
Yeah, event target that value, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's grab this one and put here. Okay, save
so
it.
Basically on handle change, everything is on change. It's ability to type something inside of the input, right?
On change, yeah. Whenever you have like change when you type, when you what, let's say update the checkbox or toggle the radio button, these are all on change.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's okay. I'm gonna ask you another question later, because I started the project and I had like some issues there that need to be fixed later with that thing too. But I have two inputs. One of them for some reason typing, but the other one is, well, it's not typing. So yeah. And then I had like another answer, like, I mean the code. And for some reason, when I was typing in one, it was typing exactly the same in another one. So I was just like, what's wrong? So later, I guess.
Okay, yeah, we can have a look if you share.
Do you want it now?
No, I mean later on.
Later. Later.
Like during the exercise work.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so here, what we can do next, next is to what? To reflect whatever the type of text is, right? But before that one, let me show you here, guys. Let me show you. Say that this one is not used, and this instead of this one, let me find here a function. Okay, not function actually, just a console.log event dot target dot value. So let me send it here event. So yeah, this is another way, right, to update the state. If you want to state here right inside the event, I mean the input component, we can use this kind of function. Okay, this callback function, anonymous function that updates our state. For example, this way. So just set search text, okay, and then put here e dot target dot, let's say what, value, target dot value. So we just have to put here e. So this is event which targets to my element that is the change is coming from. Where the change is coming from input. Okay, that's my target, and what is the value is whatever I am typing. But this way I can also update my search state. Okay, this way also I can update. But say that if let's say that if I want to see now what is the state in this case, let me put here search text and then e dot target dot value, and then after that one, if I console.log search text, let me show here something. So look at this. When I start typing, this function is what fired, and then I'm putting something in my state. Okay, but will I be able to get immediately over here whatever I have typed and be able to get from search text or not? Let's try to test it. Okay, so let me put here something, save it, and let me show both screens in this case to make it better. Okay, so cool. Now, make it smaller. Look at this, guys. What are we doing actually? We have an on change and then the search text. Okay, that's the way how we can update. That's correct. But will I be able to get this change immediately right on line 18 or not? So, hello. Why my O is missing? Why my O is missing? Or let's say another one. H and nothing. Okay, but we do already have search text in our state. Okay, if I want to console over here, let's say search text. Okay, inside or before return, save it and remove everything. Remove, say H. So H before return, but we have in our state. But why don't we have here that H? Any ideas?
Does it need to run through that variable on line 4 before it gets updated, or not variable, but
Yeah,
that
this is
line?
variable. Yeah, I'm directly reaching out here to that variable, but looks like this 19 is not showing us whatever we have in our state.
Yeah, it's still getting updated, right? When you change it, it gets
Yeah,
updated. Doesn't show in the
exactly. Yeah,
console.
because this one runs like asynchronously. Okay, so this set state is asynchronous function. It never ever guarantees that it what may happen next, like what may be executed next. So even if you put here console, it doesn't mean that okay, so the moment I update, it means that I have to go first to state, update it, and then I will execute this line. It won't do like that. Yeah, okay. But when we can see this change is only in the next state update. So if I attach one more text here, let's say E, and then I'll barely see here age, which is coming from previous memory, previous records. Okay, that's why this set, and then after set, if you want to apply some logic, if you want to apply some algorithm based on the state, then you are on the wrong track. Okay, sometimes people do something like this. Let's say that set state, and then let me use this search, and then let's say const some function. Okay, function equal to this one, and then which returns this. Return, for example, search text. And then if you want to use this function somewhere else down below here, you won't be, not this one, yeah, const say fun. Yeah, if you want to use the output of this function based on the state that is updated here, then it won't work. Okay, because here, okay, state is updated, but that updated state is not immediately available right in line 8. It is not available still. Okay, it has to be first rendered in my page, and then next time when I come, it may be working. Okay, so that is crucial, which needs to be taken into account. So what I wanted to show here is just the behavior of the set functions. These are asynchronous functions. So yeah, we can update here, but we can't make our state available right here. Okay. So let's go back and put our functions back. We were using handle search, right? Handle search. Yeah. Every time when I start running this function, what happens? Let me say remove this. What happened? It fires handle change. Again, let me remove this one also. Handle change, and then from event, I will get target value and update my state, and that search text is available in my re-rendering phase. Okay, re-rendering phase. Now let's save it. So that's why the inputs are called controlled component. The value is controlled based on the state variable and state function. And that state variable holds the value of input and can be used anywhere, anytime in our re-rendering phase. Okay. So we will see now here the exact perfect output. Let's put here hello. And you see hello here and hello also here. Yeah, I can remove this one. But let me try to here also somewhat say that, but still looks like we are failing to completely run this input component. So we also have to display this one is typed correctly in our, I mean, the state is reflected in our input component as well. So in that case, it has value, okay, which will hold whatever the state holds. Okay, value search text. This one is perfectly managed input component. Look at this. Search text is a state that holds the value of input, and then this value is the search text, whatever we typed so far, and then that's coming from state. Okay, and now let me put here hello, and then hello is here, and the search text is using the paragraph is using source text that's coming from state. Okay, so what is that? It's on a warning. I'll remove this one and refresh it. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Now, can we use the state search text anywhere? Yep. For example, if we have other components in other files, say that here, child input component, and it has, oops, it's actually a file, say JS, and then constant child input function, and return. Let's say something is coming in my props, right? Props. And if I want to return this one as a paragraph, so what should I do is props dot text, for example. I will be sending as a text later on. Export default child input. Save. Okay, and now let's quickly import that component. Import child input from child input component. Save. And so let me put down below here our child component. And how should I send is text, right? Text equal to now search text. And that's also be available immediately every time when I type in my input component, input text. Okay, so let's save it. And for example, props text. Yep. Let me remove this one. Save. Now, hello. Hi, how are you? Okay, so this way we ended up saving the input value in our state and then managed to share over the different components. Say that it's child component, it may be parent, it may be different. So this text can also be sent to backend and so on and so on. Okay, makes sense? This input on change, handle change, and then the value is coming from our search text. So as a next step, we can implement for example, what drop-down menu. Okay, drop-down menu also has what different input values. We can store one of them in our state and able to use anywhere else. Okay, so let's put here another row, for instance. So row, and then inside a column, and put here, let's say, what was that? Select, right? Inside a select, I can put multiple options. Option, let's say just a red, and then red, and then different colors, blue, and let's say black. Okay, and blue and black. So the moment one of them is changed, I have to store it in my state. Okay, then I'll go ahead and put here my event listener, which is an on change again. On change, handle drop down. That's it, handle drop down. So if I target this element using the handle drop down, it will have bunch of information, including the value. Okay, like this, I can grab even that target that value. So let me copy and paste the same function and then replace it with the name handle drop down. But instead of text, I can put here, so let's say drop down. Okay, and then set drop down. And initially it's empty. What I would do is I will update every time when there is an event target value coming from drop down menu. Okay. And of course, the value also should be reflected over here with what? With this drop down. Drop down. Now this is fully controlled. Save it. Okay, which one is selected? We can send it to child, okay, as a props. So let's send this drop down as well. Putting here drop down equal to drop down. Okay, save it. And as a next element, let me grab this first, Control X. Oops, sorry, not this way, but this way. First one is let's say paragraph, and then we'll have props.text, and second one is props dot drop down, right? Drop down. Let me double check if it's a camel case. Yes, drop down. This is the variable name, and props dot drop down. You just have to put here a simple React fragment to wrap all of those. Save it. Okay. Now we don't have at the moment the text because these search text drop downs are completely empty, and that's shared the what along the child, and child is showing that empty state. Okay, so let's put here hello now. Hello, you see we started showing it from child input component, and then now let's select one of them, black. Hello black. Okay, or hello blue. Hello red. And this is the way how we control easily our input components and make it available in anywhere, wherever we want. Make sense? We managed to build so far input component and drop down. We basically did the same steps for both of them, where we are getting the target value with the help of functions. Okay. And then storing them in our one of the state variables. And as a next example, so here we have hello, red, see whatever it is, selected, blue, black, red, blue. Yep. We can also actually put here saying that you wrote this one, you selected this one, save it. Initially nothing. Let's remove this. Yep, we have here ASD and then red. Okay. Cool. Next, what we can do is we can also create the text area, right? So let's put here text area. Actually, what is this value? And then this value is actually it still works without this value, okay? But so without this one, you see, component becomes not fully controllable. It says uncontrolled. Okay, what does that uncontrolled means? We are not pretty much using the state. Okay, we are not completely coordinating or communicating with state when we are trying to control our drop down and then input components. So in that case, that value also should display whatever the value also should have whatever we have typed so far and whatever we selected. Okay. Otherwise, it still works. For example, let me just remove this one and make it empty and select black here and type something. Okay. But that wouldn't fit for the logic of React control component. So we need this value to see the logic, what is coming from state. Here also. Drop down, save. Okay, now we can go and put here one more class name saying this one is row, and then quickly here column, and we can create what, for example, let's say that text area. Okay, is that simple? Yeah, just a name text area. Okay, that one works. So text area. Okay, and so let's say that we can also attach on change event handler on change handle text area. Okay, so this is what input text, but this text area can be a little bigger, where you can submit your reviews, your essays, and much more, longer paragraphs. So we define it dimension like columns and then rows. So handle text area, and of course, we will create one more state for him. So let's put initial in nothing and put here text area and set text area. So just put here not text area directly, but text area. Okay, text area. And now the function over here, handle text area. Whatever is coming from event, I'll go and then update my text area just by putting here text set text. Okay, and then this can be used in both places as a value over here. So value equal to text area, and then that can also be sent to my child input. So text area, not v, but just text area. Okay, so look at the state, text area is here, and then the function I set text. So set text, and that would be update my variables text area. And then that text area is a variable, since I can use as a value to make it fully controllable, and also share in my child input. So let's say text area is equal to same one, text area. Okay, and inside my props, can put here one more paragraph. You wrote this text, and just put here text area. Save, and now let's save it here. So we have one text area, and whatever we type here is stored inside a state, and that state is shared in child input. Okay, so let's say that this let's say restaurant is really what, let's say what, or prepares delicious foods all the time. Okay, this is the text that we are using in our child input component, and then be able to display over here. This restaurant prepares delicious foods all the time. Makes sense? All right. Now, how can we implement the radio button? For the radio button, what we need to do is input type radio, right? If you remember, input type radio, and that can be simply put here div, and then input, right, type radio. How many? Oh, we can put 2. Okay, 2 input. Of course, what we can do is we can only toggle between one of them. So to be able to toggle between one of them is we have to attach the same name, right? Name, say that for what? Agreement. Okay, and then name here, agreement. So as long as they share the common name, the only one of them can be selected. And so here we have one of them, the other one is this one, this one, this one, this one. So values, let's put here, what was that? I can put here a label, HTML4 radio 1. Okay. Let's say I agree. And then ID is radio 1. And second label, let's say deny and radio 2, and ID also radio 2. D equal to radio 2. Save it. Okay. Now we have labels for them. I agree, I deny. I can select only one of them. Either this one, either this one. As a value, what would I send? So as a value, what would I send is, of course, the value, let's say that can be fixed here. Okay, so I can fix here that yes. And then let's say this one is value no. So I can send it for yes or no, whichever I want. Okay, when I click this one. So in this case, both of them needs one function. Okay, both of them can be used for one function with the help of onChange. Okay, onChange handle radio. And the same function for him, can attach handle radio. Once this radio button is fired, we can go ahead and use what the event targeted value to update our state. But first, let's have a look at what is coming actually from this event that target value before making it saved. So let's say that here we are clicking the radio, save it. And what I'm doing is handle radio event targeted value. So I just attach it the same function for both. If I select this one, it takes this value, yes. If I select this one, it takes no. And as a result, this yes or no would be saved in my state. Okay, so let's have a look, refresh. Initially, nothing is selected. If I select I agree, yes, radio is clicked. If I select deny, no radio is clicked. Okay, I can select only one of them, either this one, or this one. Make sense? Let's make it save it simply down below text area with one another radio value variable. Okay, set radio value. And initially we don't have anything, and we'll go ahead and then update this one over here with its correct function, set radio value. Okay. So how can we make it used is take the variable name and share over the child component. Put here, let's say, radio value is saved. So this one is coming from my state, and this is going to be used as a variable name inside my child input component. So here you selected, let's say, this answer. Okay, props that radio value. Save it. Cool. Now let's refresh completely. Initially we have hi, I am, let's say, Jacob. Okay, Jacob. And then we'll select with the black, and then hello, this is nice place. You see, hi, I'm Jacob, black, color is selected, and then hello, this is nice place. And let's say that I agree. So you selected this answer, yes. That's it. Anything else? Any questions? Let me show the code completely. in full screen. All right. Take a look, guys.
Would there be a method to like have one function for like let's multiple radio buttons, like to see the change of like in 3 radio buttons, but only through one function rather than 2 like on changes? Or is that not?
Yeah, because we need to attach another event, right? So the moment there is a change, we have to capture that one. So how we can capture is with the event name, which is on change for him, on change for him. So that's why we need multiple functions, but still with the same function name.
That's me.
Yeah.
I was wondering if there's any case where you'd have like a lot of radio buttons.
Yeah, radio buttons can be like maximum. Maybe
5.
I'm not sure. Like 5. But if there are more radio buttons, it would be better to use the drop down.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, radio buttons is most of the time like for yes, no, like gender, so on, like short answer, Boolean questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, you see? And it's just a label, but this is one change that's capturing which radio is selected, either this one or this one. So we can use one of them, or we can implement one more. Let's copy and paste this one. Here, let's say I do not have idea. Okay, and still same function, but radio 3, and then ID is radio 3, and HTML4 is gonna be the radio 3, and then value would be, let's say, no idea. Save it. Okay. Let's refresh. So let's say hello again, and then I like blue color, some text. I agree, I deny, I don't have idea. Yeah, no idea is selected. Cool. And now, what else we can do? For example, we can also implement within drop down. Yeah, one of them is now left, which is checkbox, right? Checkbox. Checkbox. Yeah, let's work with checkbox now. I want to make this screen in a more full way. Okay, checkbox. So the problem is, you see, and for every single input component, we are creating a separate function: handle change for input text, handle drop down, handle text area, handle radio. But instead, for all those unique functions, we can come up with one single function for all. Okay, say let handle handle change. Okay, for all. So handle change for him, the same function here, the same function here, same function here. But with some very basic decision, we can say that, okay, the input is coming from radio, input is coming from text area, input is coming from drop down, input is coming from input text. So we can update accordingly over here without any confusions. Okay, so that can be easily done. I'll show you later, but of course it's all the time best to follow step-by-step procedure by creating separate functions at first. Okay, but of course, like if you have 20 or 50 like different components over here, you won't need to write as many as different functions as the length of your components. Okay, if there are 50 different inputs, so you don't need to write 50 different functions. You can handle with one single. So Yep, we will do that one also. Now over here, I would like to show for the checkbox. That is a row and then column. Let me put here and put what was that? Check box. Okay, let me give him a label and saying that this one is a checkbox and put here ID of checkbox. Save. Okay, so say that checkbox value, whatever we select based on this checkbox, will be shown here. Okay, or checkbox, let's say. Let me have a look how it looks like now. So we have checkbox here, right? Without text. If I type here value, let's say value hello, what we're gonna see, refresh. Yeah, checkbox. How do you attach the text for the checkbox is using a label, right? Is using label. I just want to show here, for example, let's say accept or not accept, something like that. Is that something value or what? Let me check here quickly. Checkbox HTML. Yeah, with the help of labels, we all the time use a checkbox, right? With labels. I have a bike, I have a car, I have a boat. Yeah. With labels. Cool. Now, for example, here this one is I accept or not accept, let's say I read terms and then let's say postpone reading terms at this moment. Okay, so we don't have value, of course. We don't have value. Yep, save. So how can we make that this one is selected and or this one is selected and so on? So we will get some value from that checkbox. I read the terms, I postpone reading. Okay, so it looks like we don't have a name for him, right? Let's put here checkbox 2 and then checkbox 2. Save. If I okay, what's that checkbox? Okay, that one is not correct. ID checkbox 2. Save it now. Okay. Cool. So what happens if we try to target the value of checkbox? So in that case, we will attach an event with its own change, right? Handle check box, handle checkbox. Save it and try to console how it looks like if you want to capture what is coming from checkbox. Okay, let me remove this one, save it. Handle checkbox, and this is not checkbox, but this is handle checkbox. Okay, save it. If I click here, hello handle checkbox. What is that hello? Which hello? Handle checkbox. What is that? Hello. If I type here, if I remove, okay, only one function so far we have, but if I click here, it is sending me hello. Why? Where the hello is coming? Event that target that value handle checkbox. Where that hello is coming? Look at this. I read terms and then on change handle checkbox. Type is checkbox, right? ID is checkbox. On change. Okay, how about for him? What it's gonna be selected as a value. Let me select this one. On. Hello. How about this one? On. On. Interesting. Refresh it quickly. Checkbox. And click. I read the terms. On. Okay. Not hello. How about now? Still on. How about now? Refresh. On. Yeah. So value for the checkbox is actually not promising what property. Instead, what we use is checked property, right? If you remember, checked. Let's check. Let's see if it's checked or not. So based on this checked or not, we can get some information. Look at this. It says either true or not. If I check now, it says true. You see? If I remove, false. This one is checked, true or false. Check, false, check, false. That's it. So this one is check or false. Both of them is false. Yeah, using the checked property, we can get whether selected or not selected. Okay, whether selected or not selected. Makes sense? So how can we update that? Which one is selected or which one is not selected? Because we don't know, right? Still, whether the user read or postponed. Okay, how do we know that? Let's say when the user clicks this one, we know that this the first one is checked, which is read terms. Okay, now of course, like with the help of a different function, it can be easily handled. So handle checkbox for reading, handle checkbox for postponing, and then two different states can be created. But using the single function, how can we make it work is, let's say, we can send here name, okay? So name, read, and then name equal to postponed, okay? So here we can grab target.name, okay? Which one is clicked. So if I click target according to the name, it's going to show me read or postponed. Look at this, postponed. You see? And then this time, read. And read. Okay? So if the signal is coming from read, I will check its what? Checkbox or checked property. So let's say if save here target that equal to what was that? Read. Okay, I will update my state that user read constant. Let's say check box value and then set checkbox equal to use state equal to state. So initially nothing, and I'll just update here. If that's coming from read, I'll update here this way. E dot target dot checked. Otherwise, else, it means that the name is something different than red, right? And I'll update here according to that whatever the target checked is. But still, it lacks me. For example, okay, if it's coming from red, I will update, but I still don't know what to show for the users, right? What to show for the user. In that case, yeah, we can put here still name instead of checked. We can still put name instead of checked, and we can send it to our child over here, checkbox value equal to this one, and make it useful somewhere here. You check this option and props dot checkbox value. So let's have a look one more time. Handle checkbox, handle checkbox. So I'm targeting according to the name. If name is coming from read, I will actually, I don't need to use even this statement, right? Anyway, we are updating based on the name. Yeah, we don't need this statement. So we are just updating based on the name in this case. So let's save it. But what happens if we select both of them? Okay, that's the problem. Now, let me select one of them. So look at this. Here, you check this option, which is red. But if I select both of them, it just shows me the latest one. You see, postponed one. But both of them is still missing. Give me seconds. Yeah, we can get the value, for example, I'm getting from red, but looks like it's not showing me it is red, right? Yeah, postponed. And yeah, looks like we still need two state quickly. Let's put one next to each other. Checkbox value for red, and then checkbox value for postponed. Okay, say checkbox red, and then postponed. So now we need that if-else statement. If target.name is red, okay, we will update based on its checked. Else, so we'll update on there based on, again, yep, else, save it. What's the problem with else? Event. Save it. Okay, one more. What's the problem with checkbox? Okay, this one, or the second state. So, okay, one more here. Save. Now look at this. If target name is red, we will look at the checkbox, okay, and then update this checkbox value for red. Otherwise, if target name is something different than red, we will update the second state check value for postponed with set checkbox postponed function, and then we can send it to, let's say, here down below, checkbox for red, okay, and this one also, checkbox for postponed. Let's save it. So both of them are sent now. Checkbox for the red, let's say, and then we will be using here red. Save it. And based on that true false, we will define Okay, each one is selected. And here, check you read or you postponed. Postponed. Save it. And the second one is also needs to be put next to read, right? Over here. Save. And then save. Let's have a look now. Okay, so if I select first one, you read. Okay, what's going on? When I select first one, handle checkbox, if the name is read. So do we have read? In that we do have, right? If it's a read, and we will event the target checked. Okay, set checkbox read, event the target checked, and otherwise set checkbox postponed, again checked. If something is not read, why it's not sending us checkbox value read? That's still same. And for this one, postponed, that is still same. Yeah, that's also same. Checkbox value. Why we don't get anything? That's interesting. Let's refresh quickly. Let's select first. You read. Okay, looks like we don't have. And how can we make it sure? By consoling over here, console log, and put here which one is selected. Okay, save. Let's click with console it. Console, refresh. So look at this one. Yeah, this is true now. How about this one? Why we can't send this true? Interesting. Checkbox value for read, checkbox value for read, and props. Okay, checkbox value for looks like for read. Okay, and we are using this variable, right? That's correct. Save it. Yeah, that's also correct. And for postponed, uses the postponed, right? Yeah, just let me put here read, and then postpone, postpone. Let me use the common names, more simpler way. Read, and then postpone. Save it. So let's check both of them. Read, postpone, save. Refresh. If I select here, I'll get the first one true, second one is empty. And now both of them is true. If I remove this, first one is false, second one is true. And here, first one is false, second one is also false. Why we're not able to get this inside our child component? Now we can put here read and then postponed. Save. Okay. Let's refresh it now one more time. This one and this one, interesting. So you read, and of course we are not able to put here true or false. Why? Let me check here what actually we are receiving. Console.log. Okay, props.read. Let me check. Refresh. Yeah, we are actually receiving, but we are not able to show over here, right? Props.read because of this boolean. Maybe. Why? Since it's a true, that's also a variable. That's a type. Why we can't display? Let me try to add, for example, +0 and then +0 for them. It looks like not a number initially, but shows me 1 and 0, right? Which I don't want actually. Yeah, it doesn't work. Save. Yeah, actually we are receiving correctly, but we are not able to show the here.
Can you make
Okay.
them
What I did?
I just noticed that all the other props are strings, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, this is Boolean. Boolean.
Can Boolean show on the display or?
It's also type.
Okay.
Since it's a type, I may be confusing, but we can do something like this. Okay. We will show only one of the text based on this coming logic. So say that if this props dot red, okay, if this is if this one is, let's say this one is true, what we're gonna do is we will show, okay, red. Otherwise, we will show what? Of course, not this way. If this one is true, we will show, okay, we will decide something like this. So props dot red, if this is correct, what we will do is we will put here a paragraph and saying here red. Okay. Otherwise, saying here, we will check again one more time. So if that one is true, we will show red. If that one is false, we will check this one, props dot. And those are really logical. So let me. Interesting. So if that one is true, we can show that one is red. Otherwise, postponed. Let's put here constant, another function. Okay. Show check result. Shouldn't be that challenging. Why it's still confusing? So show check result. Okay. I'll put here one function, and then let's say check. I'll make it sure that if check, okay, if this one is props.red, what we will do is return p just red. Okay, and not else, of course. If, okay, we can return multiple, but we won't be able to return, right? So I'd say that another if yeah, check, which is props.red true. How do we know that? Otherwise what? Otherwise, if a postponed, I'm just trying to come up with the postponed. If postponed true, that one still fires this read. Okay, that one still fires this one. Okay, if props read, if there is a value, okay, it means that we will show this one. And and both of them. How about showing both of them? Anyway, I didn't like this answer, but looks like we can get that answers here. Look at this. So here, and then this one is selected. This one is not selected, selected, not selected, selected. Yeah, we can come up with a more simpler example. I didn't want this checkbox may go that deep. Okay, you can come up with a more simpler Okay, so let me remove this one and make things more simpler. So I read terms. If we just check it, it means that I read. If it's not checked, it means that I haven't read. Okay. If it's checked, I read. If it's not, I haven't. So handle checkbox will get checked property of event. So let me get this one and remove this and store in our checkbox read. And we don't want this one. Let's say save. Okay. So we are using only one read and then set checkbox read event the target, either false or true. If this is true, okay, that one goes checked, otherwise unchecked. So remove this one, save. Now, how can we make it useful that I check the read or not read? Okay, so we can put here one logic, something like that, inside a function. Okay, constant show read or not equal to, it takes let's say check value. So based on this check value, let's say if check value, we will show that what it's gonna be return p red. Okay, otherwise return p not red. So and we're gonna call this one, okay, and put over here and show here and pass what props.red. Save it. So what is next? Look at here. Either terms, we have such a label, which is attached to checkbox. And the moment we select the checkbox, this function is fired, handle checkbox. And we will go up over here. We update our state, even the target checked, and checked shows either false or true. So if the checkbox is filled, this one becomes true, otherwise false. As a result, the read becomes either false or true. Okay, and then we are using this read in our child input, and based on this value, we are either showing red or not red. Okay, if it's true, we will show red. If it's not true, we show not red, and we will just call our function. Okay, this is the way that I showed you initially in our today's session. If you remember how we can return multiple different elements using the function. Okay, so yep, let's go and then check it. Remove this one, postpone we don't have anymore. And so here we have just you selected answer, which is I agree. And this one, is it updated or not? Looks like not updated yet. Which postpone is still, is there still postpone? You don't have, right? And the radio, okay. Where that postpone is going? Oh, okay, this one. Let me remove this. Save. Now, okay. Initially not red. That's correct. Okay, because why it is sending us false? It is sending us false. This empty means false. I'm sending this read to my child input, and that one is receiving false, and that's why it shows me not red. It's returning not red when I call that function over here, right? Okay, the moment I select this one, I read the terms says me red. Okay, based on the logic that's coming from the checkbox, it shows me not red. Or if I click again, it shows me not red, red, not red, red. Yeah, that's it. How we can incorporate the checkboxes in our React components. So this way we completed pretty much different control components like input text, okay, and then the blue and some text. So this is the, you see the drop down like black color, for example. Okay, you selected black, and then it wrote it the front-end developer, and I agree, for example, and then it means that yes. If I select this one, no idea. And then if I read the terms or not read, this will be updated, not read. Okay. Yeah. This is the way how we can use all of those. So for example, if you want to if you want to send all this data to somewhere else, okay, say that with the help of button down below the child, okay, button, let's say submit all data. Okay, so let's try to submit all data to our local storage. So here what I should do is I'm going to attach event listener, which is on click, right? On click, and then let's say handle submit. Okay, if I click this one, the submit button activates me the function handle click, const handle click, and where I will grab all the collected data so far. So from him, from dropdown, from text area, from radio, from red, I'll collect all of them to send somewhere else. Okay, so let's say new submission becomes array of objects. Okay, this one is, let's say, text value, which is gonna be what, which will be this one, search text. Okay, search text. And then next object would be drop down, right? Okay, drop down menu, which will be this one, drop down. And next one would be text area. Okay, area, and then text area. And then the fourth one would be radio. Radio is radio value. And finally, checkbox, right? Checkbox would take a read. Okay, so instead of this key value assignment, I can leave these values alone. Okay, here the right side. So this way it creates a key and then value automatically. So let's say if the search text is, let's say, IUB, it's gonna create something like that, IUB and then IUB. Okay, so the key for this IUB value would be the IUB. Okay, so if I use here drop down alone, the key would be, for example, if the drop down color is red, key would be red and the value would be red. Okay, so that can also be another option to create object key values, but let's still stick to our first logic. So text is search text, drop is the drop down, area text area. Okay, let's say not area, text area is gonna be my text area, and then the radio value, whatever radio value we'll select and checkbox. So now this can be stored in our local storage. So simply, if you remember, what was that? Local storage, right? Dot set item, and then inside here, new submissions. Of course, new submission cannot be directly submitted. I think it should be converted to string, right? Okay, JSON dot stringify, and then this new submission. Okay, and local storage holds whatever the value of local storage has. That's always string. So now let's have a look if local storage has something. Console log if this is submitted in our local storage after clicking the submit button. Okay, so console log local storage dot get item. Of course, we have to assign the what key for this data. So let's say the data form. It's gonna be this one. Like an object, right? I think like an object it should be. Let's double check quickly.
You do it in string. You put in string form and then a normal.
Okay. I just confused. Got it. See, it's a good input. So what I would do is first come up with the set item was the, let's say, form data, and then this one, right? Correct? Form data. And
yeah, that looks good.
And then get item. So what I would like to get from local storage is set item. Okay. Now get item is just based on the string name, form data. Let's have a look if we can get. Just put here local, save it. Initially, we won't get anything. Since local is null, we don't have. So let's check, for example, application. Yes, we don't have anything. Now let's try to submit all these selections. I like red color and then some text from, let's say here, copy this text and put here. And then let me select agree and then I read. Yep, submit all data. You see form data is now submitted and showing us some or what array of objects and text is front-end developer drop down is now having red color, and for this one text area checkbox are used to let the user some. Yeah, this way the data is attached to some API and can be sent to the backend. Okay, and then this one is yes for the radio checkbox is true, means that I read. Okay, now if I go to my console, I should also be receiving this what a JSON file. So am I? So if I okay, so when I submit, I create. Okay, and then form data. Is that form data correctly? Get item form data and the local. The local is null. Let me just change this one if I'll be able to get that one. Yeah, I am able to get that as a as a JSON stringified file. Okay. Yeah, to be able to map down below here, what I would do, I mean, not map actually, I just can do it here, JSON.parse. Okay, JSON.parse. Now it becomes a usable parse becomes the usable object of array of objects now. Okay. Yes. Yep. You see now array of objects. Now it can be mapped. It can be used. Whatever you want to do, you can benefit from this data. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much the forum submissions in React. Any questions?
Yeah, the first time you click submit, you set the item, but you weren't able to get it right away.
Yeah, because when we submit, we set it, and then because yeah, that's okay. Well, why? Because we are saving in our local storage, and it means that we are not updating the state. So if there is no state update, no rendering. So if there is no rendering, we won't be able to run this code.
I see.
Yeah, but if we like explicitly hard code here something like, let's say, just for rendering the page, we would be able to see the moment we submit something. Okay, so let's say that set for render, we can just put here toggling between renders. So I'll go ahead and create here const render and then set render. Okay, and put here use state. Initially, this is just false. False, and then set render. Let's check it. Set render. Yeah, this value is never used anywhere else. This render. This what state is just for using for the purpose of re-rendering the page by explicitly updating our state. As a result, we can re-render. Okay, so this way we will be able to see now. Let's have a look. So refresh. Now let me put here something. Checkbox blue is selected. Yeah, you see, every time I keep rendering the. Where is that local is coming from? Oh, okay, that's from previous. Okay, I have to remove this one first. Okay, delete. Otherwise, it keeps showing me the local storage is permanent, right? So front end blue, and then I agree. I read the terms. Yep. Now local still false. Let's click this one. We see local is coming as whatever we save it in our local storage. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you also did a exclamation render.
Yeah, this is just that's because you see here is false, and every time when we click, it just toggles between false, true, false, true, false, true. But if we put here, let's say true, okay, when we click first time, it becomes true, and next time when we click again, it is still true. So state is not updated. Okay, so means that React sees that, oh, there is no like update. It used to be true, and you are still trying to make it true. So I don't need, no change. So that way, it's better to put this not render. Whatever it used to be, you will take its opposite, and next time opposite all the time. So it's just the approach for re-rendering the page by toggling between two states.
Okay, and then how is the render function connected to all the other states, or how is it rendering? I'm not completely sure.
Say it again. Which one?
Yeah, what is the mechanism of rendering here?
Yeah, okay. The mechanism of rendering is simply something like this. So we have, let me draw here all the life cycle of this React, for example, this component, this app component. Let me, okay, not this one. Okay. I just want to hide this. Okay, say that we have this little lines of codes over here. Yeah, then we have only this kind of app, right? Initially, when we run first time, this is the first step where the default states are set up, configured. And okay, the default state in my memory search text is empty. Dropdown is also empty and goes down one by one. Okay, we have functions, but there is no function call. None of them will be executed initially. And I'll go down a little bit. So in that case, okay, this one is done. And second step is to draw whatever this function is returning. Okay, so here we have div that is wrapping another div. And so it just kind of makes one big tree that is split it into two divs. Okay, and then this one has multiple divs inside, such as this way, and this one has multiple h1s, paragraph spans, li, ul, and so on. Okay, this kind of DOM tree will be drawn on my UI. Okay, so this is the first step. A second step, yeah, okay. And but there are some buttons inside here, and attached with event listeners say that if I click this one, okay, React goes and then calls that function. Let's say this function is clicked. Okay, this function is now fired. Once this function is fired, inside I have some methods attached, which is setRender. And setRender is a function that updates my state. Oh, okay. React understands that there is a state update. Earlier, the search text, the drop down, text area, radio value, read and render used to be something different. Now they are something different than the previous condition. In this case, the render is different, right? From false and then to become true. Okay, React understands that, okay, I'll update state and then go back to draw all of those again. But what to draw? So it looks like this one is not changed. This one is not changed. This one is not changed. This one is not. Let me draw this one from the beginning because only this one is changed. Okay, and then we will see the updated DOM now.
So when you update one state or when you click submit, it'll update the render state. But does it also, while updating the render state, updates all the other states? Is that what you're saying?
No. So which state? Okay, this even if you have only one state updated, say that when we click one button, only this state is updated, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if this state is updated, then like these are all not touched. They are all not touched. Even though there is one state updated, the React re-renders my complete entire page one more time. Okay, re-renders my page, but during the re-rendering, it won't draw these divs again. These divs won't be drawn again. Only the one that needs to be redrawn would be, updated.
Okay.
Yeah, but that re-rendering is happened all the time. Whenever there is a state change, that state change could happen for him. No matter, whenever there is a state change, even though you have hundreds of states, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states. Okay, no matter you have 600 states, but even if you update only one of them, the page is re-rendered. That's why we will see the update in that case. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is pretty much like input components, and we'll be working with, frequently with them based on their logic later on in the upcoming projects. So now let me go ahead and share this file with you, and then start working with the to-do app. Okay, let's do that to-do app because we already know how to submit a text. Okay. We already know how to, why it still shows me. Okay. Don't want this one. Before jumping that, I want to share you these codes from a folder. That's app, right? Yeah. I put on your Slack chat so you can download and use it. And now I will remove everything. I don't want anything else.
But you also, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's do now real world application. With the to-do list. I don't want this one, and I'll go ahead and put here import use state, okay, from React. And then let's initialize using our variable constant app arrow function, and return something later on. Save. Okay, and I'm gonna put here div quickly. Hello, save, and export default app. Save. All right. Now let's create a to-do list. So for to-do list, what we need is we need one input component, and then one input component, and also one button. So let's put here input component. If you make it quickly, class name equal to container, and then let's make it here row. Finally, let's put here column. Okay. Offset 3, and let's wrap this one with the border. Save. Okay. So down here, I want input component, which is text. Okay, and then of course I will attach an event listener, which is on change, handle change. Okay, and down below I will put my button, which is add new task. I'll just add task. Okay, let's have a look now. Our UI should be correct. Okay, handle change is not defined, of course, that's correct. Let's quickly create this one, handle change, and just put at the moment the console.log. Okay, save. All right, so we have here our input button, and I don't want this one, and our add task button, input text, sorry, and add task. Cool. Now say that if we have some text, how should we showing them on our UI? How should we showing the UI? So say that if some text is coming from state or some constant variable, let's say const, let's say tasks equal to this one, right? And gym, and then let's say the walk, and then let's say shopping, and so on. So in that case, we can map it, right? Or we can also do what? Let me create another row down below here, row. Okay, and then call, and inside here again, call offset 3. So how can we do is, so we can create what? Paragraph, and put here tasks 0, right? And then 1, 2, 3. So do we have 3 elements? We don't have at the moment, but let's say that I'm sleeping, and then let's say just a walking. How many? 5 items, so we can show them using the indexes. 4. Save it. So tasks 0, tasks 1, tasks 2, tasks 3, tasks 4 should be displayed down below here on top of each other, right? Is that the way we will show the list of elements in React? No, we will map, right, all the time, because it may go as long as it is scalable. So let's try to map it simply. Tasks.map, and then let's say the task iterator, which is going to return us some paragraph. And then inside, I'll just go ahead and put here task. Cool. Now this also won't work. This one also works, right? Oh, this is not task, but task save. Yep, this one also works. Let's see. There are 5 tasks. We somehow made it using the loop map higher order function. Okay, now where this tasks is coming from? So let's say if I have handle change, and then can I add this one on top of these tasks every time when there is a handle change change like this, tasks dot dot push, and then say that something is coming from this input, right? E dot target dot value, whatever is coming. So let me put here E. And then let's console now, console.log tasks. So let me run here, save, and have this console inspected. Look at this. So now refresh. Okay, all is good. On change is what? Firing me handle change. Handle change is getting me either targeted value. And either that target value is whatever I typed here. Let's say that I am typing here what soccer, right? So what happens now? Every time when I click this soccer, but why I don't see here the soccer is displayed down below the walking. Why I don't see that one?
You don't have a use state, right?
What does that mean? You having that use state? Look at this. Look at the soccer, and then space looks like I have. You see, gym, walk, shopping, sleeping, walking, SO, sock, and then soccer, and then space. But I don't see it still on my UI. These tasks are added. SO, sock, Y. It looks like these tasks. Yeah.
I don't see what's linking the updates to the display.
Yeah. So we are not forcing here the return to be run again, right?
Yeah.
If we force it to return to run again, so we will be able to see now whatever we added during this on change. But that forcing happens only when there is a state change in React, and state change is handled using the use state hook, right? Okay. Yeah, now let's have a look that one. Tasks, and then a set tasks, and then use state, and then we can put here nothing at the beginning. Okay, and instead of pushing, what we can do is we will update our tasks, or we can also do this way. For example, let new tasks becomes initially everything whatever we have from state, right? Everything whatever we have from state, because we have to preserve, right? Say that there could be some tasks from earlier calendar, right? So we have to preserve them first. So we have to we just spread them, and once we spread new tasks that push e dot target dot value, right? That value, and finally what we're gonna do is set tasks will be updated with these new tasks, right? That's it. So this is new tasks. Make sense? Or we can also put here on shift, because new tasks should come at the top, not from the bottom, right? Make sense?
Yeah. Would you update the new? Would you put new tasks into the set
of course.
tasks?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Instead of set tasks, we'll just put here. Yeah. Thanks. So now we have tasks, which is empty. So that's why we won't be able to show anything. But this is initially set as an empty array. And then every time when we click a new task, we will first spread whatever if we have, but initially if we don't have, okay, we are good. But we will just push a new task into these new tasks. whatever the value is coming from EDA target, and then update our set tasks with the help of this function and map it again. This way React understands, oh, there is a state change. So let's see now. Let's say soccer. You see, this is the last one, and this is the one previously. So now this shouldn't be gone this way, but whoever has the latest text, here we have soccer, right? Not this one. We should take this one and add. So in that case, we will implement this bottom functionality. Okay, the bottom functionality. So think about this bottom functionality. What kind of quick logic you can implement? Okay, and then we will work it together. So this is the code. What would you do to be able to get the soccer when you click the button? So only soccer is shown over here. Here, what is the problem? Problem is, look at this carefully. Either target the value is bringing continuously some characters, right? Every time when we click, every time when we type. So let's say with the moment we started typing the soccer, right? With S, okay, either target also becomes S, and then that is pushed to my tasks like S. And then second character is O, okay, and the either target is now not S, but SO. So as the next element, it pushed that SO. And next time I keep typing C, so target becomes SOC, and that would be pushed as SOC. And next time I click another C, and my either target value becomes SOCC, and then I'll end up pushing here SOCC element. And I keep mapping this one. So that's why I'll see that S and then SO, SOC, SOCC, and so on. Okay. So instead, what we can do, we can store it somewhere else until we finish typing. So let's save it here, tasks, instead of tasks, but we will just write here task name. Okay, task name, and then set task name. So initially it's empty, so we will set it only when there is a handle change. So let's remove this all. Set task name is gonna be that target that value. And when we click, we will use this task name. Okay, because by that time, before we click, task name will get whatever the input text or input area what input area contains. Okay, by that time. So in this case, we will just put here on click equal to handle add new task. Just use this function and put here constant handle add new task, and we don't even need to pass anything. So we need now tasks state. Okay, so tasks set tasks, and it used to be empty initially. Now we will just create a new variable. That's a data, new data equal to spreaded tasks, and new data dot unshift what, guys? Unshift what? Task name, right? Task name. And then we will just update our set tasks with new data. Save it, okay? Yeah. During this button click here, this task name would be ready, okay, to be used. Whatever you finish until you click your button, task name will get everything what is coming from input text. And that is used simply as an unshift method, using the unshift method to push into my new data and then updating my set tasks, which updates the tasks variable. Okay, so save it and let's run. Okay, we done. So let me remove this, save it, and let's run it. Look at this, soccer. Okay, now look at this. That soccer is already inside my the task name over here, like this, soccer. Okay, and if I click this one, I will be able to get complete soccer to end up pushing into my tasks. Okay, at soccer. And if I click on it and got again something, let's say gym. Now task name is completely updated with gym. I'll end up putting gym on top. Okay, walking. Okay, sleeping. That's it. Any questions? Does that make sense? Samira? Ayubi?
I think it does.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started to do it, for some reason I was lost.
Oh, yeah. It's really simple.
I was doing too many things, so I don't know.
No, the only thing is just save first this text input and then use that state name for adding a new task when you click this button. That's it. Okay, the task name stores the input text value, and then tasks uses array of task names coming from input value. So every time it is changed. Yeah, we can also do, for example, set task, and then we can also call our set task name to put their input empty. Okay, because after adding, let's make our input look empty again. So for that one, we're gonna use this value and use this task name one more time. Okay, this way we will see the empty input element, input component. Okay, so value is task name, and task name is get erase it, and we will see immediately after adding a new task that is also removed. You see nothing. You may just show the placeholder. So let's say gym, or let's say sleeping. It keeps adding on top of each other. What if you end at some empty? It keeps adding empty. You see, let's also remove that empty state. Empty. So let's say that if task name is empty, okay, we do what? Okay, if task name is not empty, we will go further. Otherwise, we don't go further. We will just alert, please type something. Okay, if task name is initially empty, we will alert. But if it's not empty, we will do all of these steps. So refresh. You see? Please type something. If I type adds K, so else I have to put here. Otherwise, it is showing both of them. Save. Okay. Now let me refresh again. Type something. Add. What's going on? Task name. If there is a task name, oh, okay. Sorry. If there is a task name, we will do this one. If there is no task name, we will jump here. Okay. Got it. Refresh. So now there is a task name, which this one makes true. If it's true, it goes to this set of instructions and a task. Okay. And let's add more. But if I click just empty input button, so it jumps to the next statement, right? Because task name is false. Please type something. Okay.
And also, if we enter the same thing, we need to use filter, right?
Yeah, let's check if that one is not included. Then we will only add then. So and that's a good idea. And we will check if task name is not included. Okay, so tasks will be filtered out. Tasks dot includes task name. So what does it mean that? So if this new task that I'm typing again, let's say gym, I typed and then I see on my list, and next time I type gym again. So what it does is, okay, task name is, there is something, okay, which is gym. And then do I have gym already? Yes. If so, I have to make it false. So it goes out, okay, instead of jumping inside. That's why I'm making him not. It means that if there is no such task name included, then we will jump into, okay? Otherwise, so, yep, save. Now let me refresh again. Look at this, how it works. I'll type gym. What it happens is, okay, this one is true, and this one is do we have gym? No, we don't have. That's why this one becomes false, but with the help of this exclamation mark, it becomes true. And we were able to jump into this set of logic. And next time, if I type gym again, is task name true? True. But how about this one? Do we have in our tasks? Yes, we do. That's why it becomes true, but with the help of exclamation mark, it becomes false. So true and false skips to the else statement. And we won't able to add anything. So we will just show this. Please type something. Please type something different, okay? Or do not leave empty. And also we can do what? Again, this one becomes empty. Okay, so now refresh. We get this gym, okay? And again, gym. It first shows, please type something different or don't leave empty, okay? And it becomes empty again. Now let's say sleep, add, we can't add empty. So now let's add sleep again. Again shows, okay? Yep. What if I add this one, sleep? It adds, right? Because we don't have any logic that checks against the uppercase or lowercase. So we can do here simply if task name include, if tasks, okay, dot lower to lowercase. Okay, we will convert it down. Also, we will keep only the lowercase tasks in our database. Unshift task name dot to lowercase. We store only lowercase tasks, as well as for checking also we will look only for the lowercase. Okay, so let's refresh something, and ASD, let's type something different, or if I type ASD, it still jumps to the next statement. You see, let's type something or don't leave empty. Yeah, it won't even add the uppercase duplicates. Okay. And also we can add not only task name here, but also for every single, we will put what? Some checkbox. So paragraph and then input checkbox. Okay. So let's return here a quick diff. Save. All of will have what? The checkboxes. So if I make it quickly class name deflex, the checkbox goes to the next. And if I put here quick some margin, okay, to push my checkbox a little to the right. So margin right. Let's say 20 pixels safe. A little on my right side, and then the margin top for him. Okay. Margin top like 5 pixels. Yeah, a little bit in the middle. Okay. And now something different, another checkbox, some other random text, another checkbox. You can also add what? Trash icon over here. Okay, trash icon. And yeah, we can improve this with the trash icon and so on. For example, if this one is clicked, what we can do is, let's say this one is somehow applied with line through, right? So in that case, what we can do is a little advanced, but I don't want to confuse you. Let me, if this one is clicked, let's make it not clicked. Let me put here quickly a trash icon. Okay, not trash icon, but remove functionality quickly. Okay, remove functionality that is coming for all safe. So say that everyone has a remove functionality. What it doesn't have. Okay, now I have to put here margin left, right? Left, save. All right. So if I remove, I should be able to remove this one. So how can I remove that one? We don't have any ID. We don't have any index of this one, right? During the creation, we can attach ID for every single task. Okay, task is gonna be something like this. What? Task name. Let's say gym, and then it will have its ID 1. And then again, next task name, okay, task name, walk, and then ID will have 2. Based on this ID, I'll pick up and then remove from my database. So this is the this is the logic, how this is the the pattern, how the data should look like inside my state when I keep creating. Okay. Right. So here, how should I create is, okay, I will preserve all the tasks. I will bring everything, but create a new object. Okay. So let new object becomes empty. Okay. And task name would be task name. Okay. Whatever the task name is. And then ID would be the length of my tasks plus 1. Initially it is 0, right? Dot length. Initially it's 0. So I'll put 1. So its ID becomes 1. Next time, the length is 1, but ID becomes 2 for the second item. Okay. Task name is this one, and the task name is coming from here. Let me put here, not task name, guys, title. Title becomes task name, and then ID becomes tasks.length 1. Okay. In this case, we don't use Unshift anymore. We will what? Yeah, we actually still use. Why not? We can still use. All right. Is new data Unshift what? Let new object. Let new object. Okay. And task name would be also converted to lowercase. Okay. Did you get this point? We will create object of task which has title and then ID, and that object will be pushed over here. And if we keep having objects, how are we gonna map this? We will use not directly its task, but we will use task.title, right? Task.title. Yeah, this is title, guys. Title, and this one also title. So we are mapping every single object one by one, but we will be using the title. Okay. As a key, we can also use their ID. So task.id. Okay. Now let's have a look. Let me is not defined. What do you mean? Let the new okay. All right, new object. Interesting. New object. Let's use this one. Save it. Okay, refresh, and it's nothing initially. ISD. Yep. Title, and then checkbox, and so on here. Now, if I click this one, I should be able to remove it. Let's quickly do that one and to wrap up. Here, I will send an ID every time when I click, okay? On click and remove task. So here, I want something. I want an ID of whatever I am clicking. So in that case, I have to send something, okay, to my function. What I would like to send is the ID, which is task.id. Okay, based on this ID, I will use filter function to filter out only the one that doesn't have this task ID. And whoever has this task ID will not be selected. Okay, so here remove task is fired. Over here, const remove task, and then it's there is an ID coming. Okay, and what I would do is let me check quickly console log ID if the particular item clicked has the correct ID or not. So look at this. If I click now this one, whose ID is 1? Sorry, 2, because we are putting on top, right? Okay, remove didn't work. Why? Let's double check. Remove task ID I'm sending. Task ID, task title, and then console log ID.
It should be on click.
Isn't that on click? What is this? Okay, got it. Awesome. So now let's look at this. The 2 ID number 2 is clicked. Why? Because this is the second guy who was created. This was the first guy. Okay, based on this one, I will filter out and to go further. So const again new data. What I will do is I will bring everything from my tasks. Okay, and a filter only the one whose ID is not equal to this incoming ID. So ID and ID.id. Okay, so this ID is iterator of this single object, but I don't want to put here. Let me put here task object .id if that is not equal to this ID, this incoming ID. Okay, and this new data will hold array of only those objects whose ID is not equal to the one that I clicked. That's it. And finally, I'll just update my state with new data again. Okay, so this way, the React re-renders my page and showing only the one that I have in my set tasks variable. I mean here. That's it. So let's add a couple of more. So it says ASDs. Okay, ASDs added twice. Okay, because we are checking here task name, right? Which is not correct. Yeah, we have to come up with another logic for this. You see, for the objects, but this works directly with the string of array. Okay, array of strings. But when it comes, you have objects, it won't work anyway. Yeah, but let's remove. You see, I can remove, and we don't have anything. If you want the console now, the set tasks, we end up having nothing. Console.log tasks, save. Let's have a look. You see, nothing. Well, let's keep adding. We have something, 1 item. Let's keep adding. We have 2 items now with ID 1, ID 2. And then keep adding. We have 3 items, ID 1 to 3. So if I click this top one, whose ID is 3, okay, I'll have 3 here. And okay, I'll filter out only the one that is not equal to ID equal to 3. So this way I'll end up getting here only 2 objects whose ID is not 3, which is 1, and another object whose ID is 2. Okay, and that would be used as a state in new state. So remove only 2 objects because I removed the third ID number 3. If I remove this one, I have only one object with ID 2. Okay, this way people create UI or applications, how to remove items, how to remove or add new items, and so on and so on.